Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Mappening. This is the first broadcast I've done named the Mappening, but I guess I've had a couple of these before, these live mapping things. So yeah, but I'm going to start calling them the Mappening, and I'm going to try to do them about once a month, and they're going to be pretty casual. I'm just going to be doing some drawing and trying to, I guess one of the reasons for me to do these is to make myself practice more. And if I have kind of a goal of doing a couple hours a month at least, I will hopefully be doing more. And yeah, you know, it's something I do, and especially if I get a commission or something like that. But at the very least, kind of just a excuse for me to sit down and practice for a couple hours and hang out with some viewers, which is always a good time. So yeah, we're going to get started here. I think this first, actually, I'm going to show off a map I did last time, and we're going to be, I'll be hanging out somewhat in the chat and taking questions or stuff like that, but I am, excuse me, I'm also going to be trying to actually get some mapping done, which, you know, I'm not extremely good at multitasking. So I may not be, you know, extremely active in the chat, but yeah, you guys hang out, chat it up, and I will definitely try to, you know, look in every couple minutes and answer some questions or respond to jokes with laughter and you know, all that good stuff. I forgot one thing here. One thing that I'm going to be trying to do, if I'll put a sticky note to remind people here. I should have made a fancy overlay, but I didn't. I will be checking out things with the hashtag Mappening. On my screen, it looks backwards, but I'm assuming it's forwards on yours. And if it's not, let me know. But yeah, hashtag Mappening is if you have mapping you are doing too, or anything you're working on, really, I'd love to see it. And I might even show it on air here. And so if you have something you're doing, drawing a map, you're, I don't know, even painting a miniature or doing some crafting, whatever, just throw up the hashtag Mappening on Twitter. You can tweet at me if you want to, then make sure I get it. Or you can post it on the Facebook event. I guess I didn't know this, but apparently on Facebook you can do hashtags too. So yeah, if you throw up the Facebook, throw it up on Facebook if you're doing a map and you want to show me what you're doing. That'd be awesome. Throw it up there. Excuse me. You can also throw it up on the WASD20 on Facebook. It's just the community where probably many of you heard about this event. If you just throw it up there and leave it as a comment on the event creation or on the post that I just put up there that said going live in a couple minutes, then I will try to show off some of those on the air. And yeah, so I encourage you, you know, even if you're just hanging out and wanting to view, pick up a pencil, get some paper and just kind of try doodling. It's fun. All right, I'm gonna take a drink here and we'll get going. All right, very good. Oh, I see some comments already here. Excellent. So Christy, must be morning where you are. Christy, where are you? Christy Smith says, good morning all, or good evening, whatever. All right, hi guys, all four of you so far. Hopefully we'll build this up. Share it with your friends. Let's pull in some more people here. But yeah, so the first thing I'm gonna do actually is show off a map that I recently worked on. This was one of my first commissions. I guess it's my first completed commission. And I just wanted to start off with showing this off and also doing a little critique, because I think that's one of the things that's always good to do when you're working in art of any kind, or for that matter, even DMing. You know, I always try to be reflective and think about, okay, what went well there? What could have gone better? So this is my most recent completed work, and I thought I'd do a little bit of that here. Talk about, okay, what went well here? What could have been better? One thing that I'm getting better at and was pretty pleased with, and I kind of showed this off in my lettering video, was the fact that I actually saved some space for lettering and didn't have to like have my lettering overlapping anything. And so like this right here, you know, Ben's Crossing, I actually kind of stopped my river there and stuff like that. Boasting Hills, I left some space here, and the Blue Peaks, same there, leaving some space for the lettering. That was one thing that went well. Something that didn't go so well was the forest. I kind of actually right here, my son, my 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old, got up and found my pen and decided to put a line right here. I didn't have anything in this area yet, except for the river, and I had the forest penciled in, and he put a line right here, and I ended up having to white out, and so that was unfortunate, and I ended up having to kind of use some of the lines he drew for my forest here, where I had to adjust it a little bit. But I'm not totally pleased with the way the forest. I think they went okay here. I think, yeah. Anyway, I did. It was kind of inconsistent, and I didn't like the way some of the lines ended up. Just, yeah, I'm still messing with it, I guess is the point. The mountains I thought turned out pretty well. In hindsight, I'm just kind of continuing to mess around with the way I do mountains. And in hindsight, I think I would have made it maybe a little bit more, I don't know, made them bigger. So I'm going to trace them here because I can see them pretty well. So instead of having it like this, there's a little too much space between mountains, and it looks okay. But in order to make them look a little bit bigger, I like it when maps, you know, kind of get like that more. You know, just make them bigger and make them almost like on top of each other a little bit more. Maybe like that, and that sort of thing. So anyway. You know, you can just keep kind of going crazy here, and there we go, and yeah, so that sort of thing is something that I've been thinking more about. Would have liked it if there was a little less space between mountains, I guess. Something that might have been cool. Hello, Alec. Hello, PhD 20. Kirk, good to see you, man. Yeah. Oh, Christy, you're in Australia. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's that's quite a time difference. Well, thanks for joining me on your, I'm imagining, Monday morning. Although, who knows? It could be Sunday. I'm ignorant of these things. Now, I feel like you're ahead of me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. So, yeah, anyway, I think it's good to, again, be kind of reflective about anything you're doing. Think about, okay, what could have gone better? It was my first time kind of doing this deserty looking area. I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. I took inspiration from some stuff online that I found. Yeah, I think, you know, there's definitely room for improvement here, but overall pretty pleased with the way it went. So anyway, I'm going to work on a new map tonight, and this is not one that I have very planned out, but I did do some penciling in on some, actually this is watercolor paper, and I'll show you the pad that I have here. Studio watercolor, and so this is hot press watercolor, which is a little smoother apparently compared to, I don't know, cold press or regular press, I'm not sure. And yeah, this is 12 sheets, is 9 by 12, so a little bit bigger. I'm hoping to get some bigger stuff. That's something I've really been thinking I need to do, because when you get bigger paper, you can get just that much more detail. So yeah, I will definitely be doing that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to just continuing to push myself. All right, I'm going to type welcome everyone here, and we're going to get going. All right, I penciled in some stuff here, and now I'm going to be inking the coastlines a little bit. Now, it's always a little bit dangerous when you're inking the coastlines, because as I mentioned in my lettering video, it's nice to save space for lettering. So if I can identify spaces where I think here I'm going to be wanting to do some lettering, I'll try to be cued in to actually stop my pen and think, okay, wait, I might want to do some lettering there. But I'm going to start here with a number 5. This is a Pigma Micron pen. And yeah, I'm just going to start. You probably can't see the pencil line very well here. I've been having a lot of trouble kind of messing with my camera and tweaking it and trying to figure out what's going on. But for some reason, it's just not focusing well. And I've tried messing with the white balance. I tried messing with all kinds of settings. I'm not quite sure what it is. It looks totally fine when it's like my face. But for some reason, when it's pencil on paper or even pen on paper, and parts of it will seem more out of focus than others. And I've been messing with my lighting too, because I was thinking it might be like some glare coming straight down. But I don't know what it is. So anyway, I think it'll be fine if I'm mostly using ink tonight. And hopefully if I'm doing some pencil too, it'll be okay. We'll survive this. All right, but this is going to be a landmass that's sticking out toward the east. And again, I'm using my size 5 here, and I'll be going back and darkening the certain edges to kind of give it that three-dimensional look that I like so much. Got a little bit jagged there. Okay. And the way that I made this coastline, I know that in my first map making video, I did it with dried beans, and you can use all kinds of stuff. I got that idea from Questing Beast, who does some great videos. And he did it with like these little cubes that he had. I think he used them in class. He's a teacher, and he had used them probably for math or counting or something like that. These little cubes, and that was a great idea. So I took that with the dried beans and tried to do a similar thing, and thought it went pretty well. This time I actually looked at some actual real world maps, and I just took inspiration from looking at actually some areas around the Mediterranean, Greece and Italy, and just zoomed in on some coastlines on Google Maps, and took some inspiration there. I don't think you'll see anything here that you'll say, dude, that's totally Greece or anything like that, but maybe, I don't know. So just going along the coastline here, trying to make it, right now my pencil lines are pretty smooth, so I'm trying to make it, a little more jagged as I'm going in here with the final ink line to give it a really detailed look. Just kind of shaking my pen here and there. It's a little island right here. And I might go add more islands out here too. We'll see. There we go. One thing I've been thinking about is making some maps and maybe putting them up as PDFs on Drive-Thru RPG or something like that, just as maps that are blank, but also again saving some space for lettering so that people can write in their own titles for places, but maps that people can just kind of download, print out, and they can use to I guess fill in their own places if they're just kind of wanting an easy, hey, here's my homebrew world type thing. So anyway, this might end up being one of those maps. Okay, now right here I had this bay, and I did draw in like a guideline for the lettering right there. Don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but that is there, and I will make sure that I don't, excuse me, put any ink over that area. Hi, Adam. Welcome. Just saw your comment. So what is everyone else up to on this fine Sunday? Let's get you all chatting here. Or Monday, as the case may be. And I mentioned this at the beginning, but there weren't many people here yet, that if you are working on stuff and you wouldn't mind me taking a look, I'd love to see it. Just put it out on Twitter, #Mappening, or you can tweet right at me. I think it's WASD28 if I remember correctly. And or you can hit me up on Facebook. You can just leave it as a comment on the event post. And I think you can put photos there. YouTube doesn't exactly make photos sharing photos easy. Understandably, because people would probably be spamming that thing like crazy. If in a live chat you could see your photo showing up, it could get easily abused probably. But it would be nice just to have people like, hey, put your photos in the comments, sort of thing, right? Oh well. Alec, what are you playing, man? I'm gonna guess you got Fallout 4. 12 and a half hours on the PC straight, says Alec. Okay, so that's obviously going to be a river there, and right here I even did a couple like lakes, so I'll just do that right now. It's kind of a line of lakes. So that's one thing to think about in your maps is, and I might have to go in there and touch that up right there, but oh well. One thing to think about is chains of lakes. Sometimes you see that. I was looking at maps when I was doing my search around Google Maps, and I went up north of Michigan where I am into Canada and Quebec, and man, there are a lot of lakes up there. It was just like you zoom in, it's just like, I mean, it was just stippled with lakes basically. So yeah, sometimes you see these patterns of lakes. Okay, now I'm going to stop this right here because I know that my river is going to be coming down from a mountain range, and I don't know where I'm going to put my mountains yet. But yeah, maybe there'll be a mountain range over here, and so the river will be coming down out of there, maybe down here. I don't know yet. So I'm just going to leave that for now. And Alex says nope. Okay, well, what were you playing, Alec? Adam, you got Fallout 4, I assume? League of Legends, Dota 2. Yeah, okay. CSGO. Just all kinds of stuff. Cool. Alec, you should try Heroes of the Storm, man. It's fun. That's the only MOBA I've ever played, like, seriously, if you can call it seriously, playing like a few hours a week. But I like it a lot. All right, and then this is going to be the rest of our coastline down here. Here we go. And we're almost done with the coastline here. And I'm probably going to do some more islands out here. In fact, let's just do it right now. So we'll do a little chain of islands here, kind of going out this direction. And I'm not penciling in. I'm being bold here. I'm just going straight to ink. All right, that's good enough for that. And we'll put a little landmass down here. Okay. One thing I thought about doing as I was penciling this in today is doing a border. Yes, Chris. Heroes of the Storm is the best. Yeah. All right. So I watched the World Championship last weekend, and that was pretty cool. I still actually haven't finished all of it, but I watched part of it on Saturday, and I've been watching a little bit more here and there over the week. All right. So I'm also going to do a lake here. Got that penciled in, but I'm not sure exactly how, where the rivers are going to go yet. So I'm gonna hold off on penciling that in, or excuse me, laying down the ink there. I'm gonna hold off on that because I want to make sure I get my inlets and outlets or whatever where I want them first. All right, now I'm going to be going in, and so that was my number 5, and need to get my biggest one. I think it's number 8. Still kind of learning these pens, but I think that this should give us a nice darker. Yeah, that's good. A bit of a darker edge on the southeastern edge is what I usually do, and I'll stick to that in this one, just to kind of give it that dimension again. Chris, my favorite hero. Okay, good question. Thrall was my first love, I have to say. Thrall, orc assassin, melee assassin. Really like Arthas. Really like Sergeant Hammer. I would say my strengths are probably Thrall and Arthas, though. I don't branch out much. See, okay, that one got a little too dark. Ooh. Christy, do you have a video or write-up on good pens to use? No, I don't, but I don't know that much. In most of my videos, you'll notice I use, like, some of them I even use ballpoint pens, just like whatever I've got laying around. We happen to have some art pens because my wife and I have done various artsy things here and there. She was into scrapbooking for a while, and so I have some of those pens laying around. But I've settled on these Pigma Micron pens. Because like I think it was Matt Click actually who said, these are good pens, you should check these out. And I said, okay. And they weren't that much very expensive, so I did, and I'm pleased with them. Can't complain. I do want to get some, I can't remember what they're called now, but I was talking to Juice actually, and his wife like sells art supplies and stuff like that to craft stores. She's in sales, and she suggested some pens that are refillable. I can't remember what they're called, but there's a certain kind of pen. It's not even a brand, it's just a kind. But yeah, these Pigma Micron pens, like if you, there's a channel called Peter Draws, and his stuff is really good. I like it. And he uses Pigma Micron pens quite a bit, and he uses other stuff too, but you know, if he's really good, and when someone really good uses a certain kind of pen, it's like, okay, they must be decent, you know. He'll also do once in a while like ballpoint stuff, just because it's like, hey, let's just try a ballpoint sketch, you know, because honestly, it doesn't matter that much if you're really good at what you do. And he is really good. Yeah. Peter Draws, yeah, check him out. He does mostly like abstract stuff, kind of designs, but I love his stuff. I've been getting more into the art channels as I've been getting more into mapping, like trying to learn, you know, been looking at videos on lettering this weekend, hand lettering, yeah, calligraphy and stuff like that, and just trying to improve and up my game a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, Alec, Peter Draws, yeah. Adam, yeah, darken that coastline. That's right. It's like, it's just that thing that makes it pop. That's what I say every time I realize that. I love it. This pen actually I am finding a little harder to use than my my Papermate Flare, which is just like, I don't know. I remember these pens from when I was a kid. Like I think my mom had them. Now I get them from work sometimes, but and use them to grade papers and stuff, especially like the blue and red ones. But the Pigma Microns are waterproof, which is cool because I'm hoping to get more into like the India ink stuff too, which is waterproof. And the eventual goal, I'm using watercolor paper here. I might be bold enough to actually watercolor this map at some point. And yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about starting to do that a little bit, and I should at least try it. I actually thought about doing it tonight, but I didn't have time to go into the basement and try to dig through my stuff to find out where my watercolor paints are. But I used to do a little bit here and there just for fun, watercolor stuff. And yeah, I still got that somewhere. So I think it could be really cool. A look for a map. Just give it kind of an authentic, again, still keeping the hand-drawn style. But yeah, I don't know. I think it could give it kind of an old-timey feel, old-timey flavor if it was watercolored. Yep. Shading that coastline. So anyway, the Pigma Micron, I've got to, even though I'm really tempted right now to grab my flare because I'm more comfortable with it, I'm going to stick to this because it's waterproof and I might watercolor this map. Sticking with it. All right, here we go. We're getting there. Now this right here is a southern edge, so I should probably darken that at least a little bit right there. Even though it looks kind of weird with that darkened. Oh, well, whatever. Got this constant itchy cough, which you don't normally hear in my videos because I edit so heavily. But it's there. All right, let's see this maybe a little bit because it's the right edge. Anything else I'm missing? I think that's about it. Now then we got this over here. That's right. Don't forget this one. So you leave that kind of thin right there, but then I've got to darken this one and then darken this one more. Oh yeah. And that one kind of light because it's the left side, but this one a little darker because it's the right. Anyway, not doing this perfect, but there is a method here. Now, some people will darken the whole thing, and I think it looks better than if it's not darkened. But I think you lose that kind of like 3D effect a little bit, which I've said before isn't super realistic, but it just looks good to me. It gives the land a little dimension, and I think you lose that if you shade every side of it. So it's tempting to say, man, that looks good. I'm just going to do that to this top edge too, because everywhere I do that, it looks really good. But then you lose the effect, in my opinion, my humble opinion. All right, cool. Hey, we're up to 10 viewers. Adam says, I started using ink pen for calligraphy and stuff. I'll probably start making maps using this soon to get that old school sketchy map look. Yeah, man, for sure. I think the dip pens are hard for me to master. I need to do a little more research and figure it out. But yeah, the problem that I have with the dip pens, which I should get out here, is that they are, when I just get it too thick when I first dip. Yeah, that's been my problem. But I was thinking you can get a pretty decent probably look from a calligraphy. Oh, there we go. Wrong end, Vanderzee. Here we go. Excuse me. All right, so you could probably get a decent do this coastline pretty easily. You would turn it on the edge there, or like this, in order to get the thicker look, and then you could just keep it hold it like this. If you hold it consistently, this will naturally be thin. This will be a little thicker there, I guess. So yeah, anyway, it's not perfect, but you can easily just turn it when you want that thicker look there. My problem with the dip pens is that I consistently get too much ink, and I think what I might need to start doing is getting a paintbrush actually and just dipping the paintbrush and putting it in there. That's what I've heard might help with that, because I dip and then I start and it's just like, whoa, so thick, it's coming all over the place and getting gross, and yeah, it's just not good. So yeah, that's my thought on the dip pens. But you can get really fine lines with this thing, like really tiny thin lines with this. So it would work definitely for doing some mapping. Not just the lettering. Obviously the lettering, that's the main reason I bought them actually, is to start messing with the lettering. But yeah. Yep. All right. So we've pretty much got the coastline in here. I think next I'm gonna pencil in excuse me, some mountains. And let's see. I'm using an H pencil here. Now, what style of mountains is one question. I'm actually going to mess around on this paper. get some blank, plain old computer paper. Don't forget, if you're working on something and you want to show me, those of you who are just joining, hashtag Mappening, and I will take a look at some point here in the chat and on Twitter and Facebook, and see if anyone used that hashtag and show off what some other people are working on tonight, this fine evening or morning, depending on where you are. The internet, it's a beautiful thing. All right, let's see here. And let me know how the quality is too. I'm thinking about upgrading my internet because I know that my internet's super slow, and this is dependent on upload speed here, what I'm doing tonight. And if it's slow upload speed, I imagine it might be a little bit grainy. So anyway, curious what you guys think. I'm sure it's not really very HD, but hopefully you're able to see what I'm doing a little bit at least. All right, sorry, I had to take my jacket off. It's getting hot. All right, so let's mess around with some mountains here. I'm going to just use pen since I'm just using some scratch paper here. But mountains, a lot of people have been struggling a little bit with mountains and telling me, I just can't get them to look like yours. And the old ridgeline method that I used in the very first map I did is probably one of the hardest methods to master. It's just, it's hard to get that line just right. So what I always recommend people doing is just, find one that looks good and copy it almost exactly at first. And in doing that, you'll learn and you'll be able to kind of take your own liberties at some point. But it's not so bad just to copy. Okay, now this is an 01, so it's a pretty thin pen here. But if I'm doing a ridge line, I'm just going to I'm doing squiggly lines and okay, and I don't know how this is going to turn out. Sometimes I do them and they're total duds, but we'll just go with that. Now, here's a common mistake I see a lot of people doing is they don't have enough back and forth. They do a little of this and then they go this way a little bit and then this way a little bit. And that can look okay, but when you go up like that, it actually helps quite a bit. And I probably should have done that more at certain points on this map here. So if I go like, that, for example, and then like that, and then, oh man, now I've gone crazy. Now I've done it. Darn it. But anyway, you get the idea here. If you're only doing it subtly, it's just going to look, it's not going to look like mountains. It is just going to look like a long ridge, which is okay. It can be okay. Now I just draw lines out from here. See that? And it's, it's okay. It can look okay. Another thing that I've seen people do wrong is maybe get these lines a little too steep or too sweeping and going out. But usually people are doing them too steep. And if you get them a little bit more kind of splayed out like that, it can sometimes give it a more natural feel. And then, of course, the shading is what really gives it the look. I'm not going to do it on that one because this is the one that I meant to actually do. But the point here is if you're doing these long this one's going up. See, that's actually going back up. This right here is actually going back up. This right here too. Then you're getting some of the bigger mountains that are they're gonna kind of punctuate your mountain range a little more, and yeah, just kind of help it look a little more like actual mountains. Okay, Adam says, a little trick if you want your pen to catch ink a little better is to rub the nib with sandpaper. Huh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense that it would just, keep a little bit more in those rough spots. Good to know. All right. So, yeah, now this, I mentioned I messed up. We're going to see if we can salvage it. How would this look? Gosh. No, I'm not going to start there. I'm going to start somewhere easier. Okay, so this right here. Nice and easy. Okay, see that? And you can always kind of add a little like that too if you want to, not just drawing straight lines out, but also sometimes making your lines a little bit more rough, I guess you'd say. Here we go. And so I usually just kind of pick the major points that I want. And that one got a little messed up there. Yeah, this one's not turning out so well. It's not one of my better lines, but we'll survive. And yeah. So this right here would probably be like a really deep shadow there. And right here. So yeah, I'm not totally pleased with how this went. But one point, something I've been learning is, whereas before I would only shade on this side pretty heavily and pretty consistently, sometimes you can actually like leave some spots that are not so shaded there. And it just adds a little bit of variety and variation. So if I, for example, right there, leave that right there, I'm just kind of adding a little variety. And then likewise on this side, actually shade some. So this right here would make sense that this side of this one is shaded a little bit, but also just pick some like planes right here. Hey, I'm going to shade that right there. It gives it a natural kind of dip there, and that can make it look more authentic and add some variety. All right, so what am I going to do here? Here's the spot that's kind of, I don't know. Maybe this is just a huge mountain here. Yeah, that could be. There we go. Huge mountain. And then this right here, little foothills. Sure, we'll go with that. The thing that looks weird is this ridge line kind of attaches there. But now this is a wide open face on the left side of the mountain, which if I'm shading the right, you would think, okay, that should remain, not shaded. Not so. You got to shade some of it. Okay, so we'll definitely shade this side of it, right? Whatever style we've chosen here, right here, I'm just kind of scribbling. And then, right here, we should pick some spots to also shade. Just kind of pick some weird shapes there. And maybe even right here, a little. We're making shadows there. And we'll shade this right here. And then you've got a little more natural, just variation that's showing there's some dips and there's some valleys within this large plain here on that side of the mountain. That it's not just totally flat. All right, so yeah. Anyway, something like that. Now on this map that I'm doing, I'm thinking about doing a more of a, I don't know. Let me try some things here. So if I'm doing a long mountain range, could I, it's kind of like I said at the very beginning of the stream here, can I get it to a point where I don't have as much blank space between mountains as I do on this one? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out here, because I don't like how much blank space there is on that one. And I think I can. I think I could do something like this and it would look good. Might be a little time consuming. Need to start thinking about not so many pointy tips too, but maybe some rounder ones. It's all about that variation. But yeah, I think I could do something like that. I think I am. And then obviously the shading is what really brings it to life, right? So we get some shading in there. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. All right, we're going to try it. So I'll be penciling it in first on this one because I don't want to mess it up. Thought about doing an all pen map tonight, but all ink. But I again might be using this map eventually. Potentially making it a PDF or something like that on Drive-Thru RPG. One thing I should do is I should shade in these bottom edges right here. I'm not going to do the river because that's just going to be too narrow of a space, but I should shade this in while I'm thinking of it. And this right here. Little lakes along the river. And maybe this right here too. All right, good enough. All right, so if I have a lake right here, I think I would probably do a mountain range right here, kind of going around. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plan on doing mountains in a sort of curve around here. Not a full ring, but maybe a horseshoe. Go. And yeah, we're going to have it going right up to the, just right up to the lake there. This is an alpine lake. It's going to be a cold swim, folks. It's got that snow melt, you know. Those happy mountains. And then happy little lakes. Yep, we got a happy little lake here. You guys are cracking me up. Gonna make me cry, though, seriously. Why? Because Bob Ross is no longer with us. And I like that guy. I like that guy. He's a good guy. I don't know. I mean, he could be a terrible guy. He could be scum of the earth, but that's not the impression I got when I used to watch his videos growing up. Or his shows, I guess, on PBS. The Joy of Painting. My brother actually is a big fan of Bob Ross too. And he, I think it was last year, asked for a Bob Ross like set of DVDs for Christmas, I think it was. And so I can't remember. I think it was me who got him that. And it was pretty cool to get him that because, yeah, we just grew up liking Bob Ross and his hair. All right, and then we're gonna wrap this up soon here. So I'll have maybe one more. Let's do a really. No, I was gonna do a really big mountain there, but I don't want to do a really big mountain there. I want to do a really big mountain over here. All right, so this one. There we go. And then to vary it up, I don't like it when, like this right here, I don't like that, how this edge touches the peak of that mountain. So I usually try to adjust that. There we go. Much better. And so this one, same thing right here. Instead of going up here and then over, just make it going down like that. Okay. And then, yeah, let's see. Hills. Do some hills next. So just kind of lightly, hopefully you can see these a little bit, but I will be inking them in soon here. We'll do some hills. Foothills of the mountains. So doing like a bigger mountain is one thing I've learned that can kind of add some texture to your to the world, bring it to life. And again, why are we doing maps? I mean, why am I doing maps? I'm making maps because I want to create cool places for people to adventure, right? So if that's the case, I want to have some character, and having a big mountain that we can name something, I think is a good way to do that. Speaking of naming something, before I forget, I am going to leave a blank space because I'm going to name this mountain. This specific mountain will have a name. And so I'm going to make sure I put in a guide right now. Maybe I'll even use a ruler, folks. Where's my ruler? Here it is. Children's Museum ruler. And yeah, we'll just kind of draw our guidelines in here so we can name this specific mountain something. Mount something or other. I think it's a pretty good name. Yeah, I got a little bit dark, but it'll do. Sorry, my head's getting in the way there. My beautiful, almost bald head. All right, we can just call it bald. That's fine. I guess almost is pushing it. All right. So we'll do some more foothills up here. And a little bit down here. Okay. And then as a name for these mountains, I am going to be drawing in some guidelines for that too. I think that we will have the name going this way. I don't know. See, this one, like, I should probably go exactly vertical, not curve it much. Yeah. So I'm going to draw my line in just a slight curve to it, maybe, but mostly like that. And then the bottom line. When I do these curved ones, I don't use a ruler because that wouldn't work. All right. And then just go in here and erase those lines. And I basically just erased my bottom line. Shoot. My guide. But I'll draw it back in. There we go. There we go. Okay. I need to get a brush. Someone mentioned you should get an eraser brush. That way you're not like using your hand and smearing pencil all over the place. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of things I should probably get. All right. How you guys doing there in the comments? You guys are being awful quiet tonight. That's okay. We can be quiet. His happy little hairbrush. Yeah. That's the reason I really like Bob Ross. I'm jealous of his hair. We used to just call him Fuzzhead, actually, growing up. I didn't know his name until I was like probably 15 years old. It's always just, hey, Fuzzhead's on. All right. So we're gonna apply a little ink here to these mountains. And that's my number 8. That'll be a little too thick. Let's try number 3 here, see how that does. Yeah, I think number 3 will be good. What else do I have? Actually, maybe a 5. A little thickness here. And then the shading, I would probably do maybe a little thinner. Shading, I saw a style recently that was like, I'll try to do it here. Probably not going to succeed very well. But, you know, if you're doing a thicker line for your mountains, which can look good, then actually going in with a really thin, it's like, here's my number 1. And if I make my shade line there, and then, oh, that I could do even thinner. Let's try this really, really tiny 005 and just kind of doing little squigglies almost. Can look kind of cool, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that looked pretty cool. Or you can just do little tiny, like tiny, like hairy almost. It's almost like you're doing little hairs hatching rather than my usual style, which is like, you know, pretty long lines that are pronounced, which can look fine too. But it's something to think about, you know, different styles for your shading. You could do cross hatching too. And with a thin pen, that will work a little better. But I'm not a huge fan of cross hatching my mountains. Poisonally. All right. Wait, OMG made Senpa? What? I don't get it. Oh, okay, hold on. What's going on here in the chat? Oh, can't talk drawing. You know, Christy, that makes me happy to hear that, actually. That makes me very happy to hear. Oh man, you guys are blowing up here in the chat now that I called you quiet. I'm sorry if I insulted you. Nate Senpai. I don't know this. What is Nate Senpai? Is this some term I'm supposed to know? It sounds like I don't know. Like, is that a guru? Is that like a religious like title? My sensei. Okay. But yeah, I'll take the Geeky Bob Ross title any day, man. I would be honored. Excuse me. It's something I'll aspire to. I'm not there yet, but I'll keep working on it. One thing I'm hoping to do is just get more active with other mappers, other people who are doing this. I know the guy from Fantastic Maps. I've recently been chatting him up a tiny bit just on Twitter, just saying like, hey, dude, just kind of introducing myself kind of. And I love that guy's work, man. Fantastic Maps. Check him out. But over at the Cartographers Guild, excuse me, you'll find a lot of good mappers over there if you just Google the Cartographers Guild. I can't remember who brought that up. Yeah, who brought that up last time? But somebody said, hey, have you checked this out? And I said, I've seen this before, but thanks for pointing it out again, because I really need to pay more attention to that website, Cartographers Guild. It's Japanese for teacher. Okay, cool. I will. After I'm done choking. There we go. I think I'm done now. I will accept that title. All right. Senpai's a title for someone older than you. Okay, yeah, I'm getting up there in years. All right, you guys are great. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. All right, so here we go. We're gonna lay down some ink for the mountains. And now I don't know what I'm gonna name these mountains yet, so I'm not gonna. Yeah, I guess I gotta name them something that'll fit in that space. I was gonna say I'm not gonna get too limiting there with my way I'm doing that. All right. So this is my nice big mountain. That I'm going to save space for the name for. All right. Go up with that one. Saving that space for the name of the mountain range. You might say, well, what a shame you're, not inking in a lot of the mountains there. But I really think overall it makes it look better when you save a little space there. Some hills. Still struggling with a little bit with how to shade the hills. If I was using paint or like, doing digital painting, I think it would be easier. Senpai, it originates from, this is from Adam now, from anime and manga, I think it's called manga. It's someone older than you, someone you look up to. If they give you the slightest attention, you sort of explode. It's funny. Sort of explode. I'm gonna need to refill my water in a minute here. I've got the just a minute here. Got this sticker handy just in case, guys, just like I had last time. But I'm hoping, the baby's sleeping better. She's not such a baby anymore. She's 1, so sleeping a little better. And if I have to take a break here, it'll probably be for a little potty break. I'm being awfully quiet too, just because I'm drawing too. That's what I'm doing. All right. I think that's, I missed this one right here. Okay. Good night. Love you, honey. The wife is going to bed. All right. Let's see. The shading. You know what? I'm going to try to come up with a name for these mountains here. See if we can do this. Lost Peaks. Some kind of general. Here's how I come up with the names. I just brainstorm like mad and just write down a bunch of stuff. Excuse me. The Craggy Mountains. Nope, that's terrible. The Rocky Mountains. No one's ever done that before, right? Could use a cardinal direction. The Western Peaks. The Moon Peaks. The Storm Glow. Oh, that's probably been done before. Storm Glow sounds like it's so. I don't know how that came to me, but Storm Glow Mountains or Storm Glow Peaks. Storm Throw Peaks. The Waifu. Adam, you're just busting out all these words. I don't know. It's got to be another manga term, right? Or did you just Japaneseify wife? All right. Anyway, Storm Throw Peaks, Storm Glow Mountains, Craggy Mountains. Hey, we're up to 14 viewers. Welcome, everybody. Okay. Anyway, back to naming my mountains here. Storm Glow Peaks, I think, might be the winner there. Or the Lightning Peaks, the Thunder Peaks, Thunder Throw. No, that sounds cheesy, you know. I think I'm going to go with Storm Glow Peaks. Okay. Get out the lettering. Okay. Will I be able to fit it here? You know, I might not be able to. I might need to extend this line a little bit, actually. Just to be safe, I think I'm going to extend it out. So we'll go out like that. It's almost like we're making a banner here. All right, so we'll start it here. Storm. Oh, didn't go quite low enough there. I got to follow my guidelines somewhat. Glow. Ooh, Echo Peaks. I do like that. Oh man, I see. I didn't wait for you guys to chime in. Echo Peaks. Yeah, I like that. I might have to use that on. We'll do another mountain range, and maybe I'll name it that. Storm Glow. Peaks. Yes. See, maybe I didn't need to extend it so much, but oh well. It'll be okay. Yeah, it's time for me to refill my water. Okay, but we're gonna do this first. I've got my number 5. I should go a little thinner here. See how number 3 looks. Again, still trying to get a feel for these pens a little bit. Number 3, I think, should be good. For if I were doing smaller, like a little city or town, I'd probably do something smaller. All right. So, doing my pretty traditional, my style. That is nothing super fancy. But what I'll be doing here is just going and trying to print fairly neatly. And then going back and adding little, I think they're called serifs, which are little lines, stems at the end. Which I heard are make letters harder to read, actually. Like if you're going for, I can't remember where I learned this. I think it was one of my educational technology classes. If you're going for like ease of reading, it's better to go sans serif. But we're not going for that here. We're going for looking cool. And so in my experience, this ups the coolness a little bit, just ever so slightly. Sometimes I don't add them to the top of my N's and M's. Sometimes I do. Depends how serif I'm feeling. Alex sitting on his kitchen floor thinking of what I wanted to eat. You should probably find a chair. That'd be good. Chairs are good. All right, Storm Glow. And now peaks. That got a little messed up. That's okay. Here's the thing I've learned too. On this map that I did, there are some things I didn't like some of the lettering got a little crowded, like Zellholm right there. Got a little messed up. There were a few other things. Even some of this down here, I didn't like how it looked. I scanned it in to the computer, and in GIMP, I was able to do some touching up for the first time ever. So I have not, done any like true digital art, but there were some little things I was able to fix there, and that made me feel good. Like, okay, I don't necessarily have to use white out. I can fix things digitally later if I have to, if it really bugs me that much. Okay, the Storm Glow Peaks is written. All right, so let's see. What are you talking about, Alec? By over 9,000. And then this guy, how long has he been practicing mapping I can't read, drawing these sorts of maps? A little longer than I have been reading, apparently. At least so much a few of his. Well, thanks, this guy. I like your name. And I appreciate the compliment. I have been doing this. My first map I started in, I think it was May or June. And I'm not done with it yet. This little piece of paper here, this is this battered little piece of paper that has been like left on the floor and trampled on by my children, is actually holding up pretty well. But this is the one from the mapping videos that, it's not done yet, but it's getting really close. And when I'm finally done with it, I'm going to look back and say, oh, I've learned so much. And there's so many things that I wish I could go back and change. And I will go back and change many of them. Actually, I'm probably going to do another series called Improved Map Making. And in that series, I will be hopefully, probably, I'm leaning towards doing the exact same map, only doing it based on what I've learned since the original and improving every single thing along the way. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Back to this one, though. Okay, so now I feel like we can do this lake here. Yeah, we're going to do it. So got my number 3 here, and that should be just fine. Man, guys, we're already an hour into this. It doesn't feel like it. It seems like we got a lot left I want to do here on this map. Maybe we'll just stay for 3 hours. Some of you would probably stick around for that, but now I'm probably going to end this in within a half an hour, I would say. Was going to try to be done by 10:30, but yeah, we'll stick around. All right, out of the cauldron. I have seen some old maps that seem to include predominant weather to symbolize, for example, the direction of predominant storms that are warned of inclement weather. Yeah, that's a cool idea. And one thing I did on my last like little live stream thing is I tried for the first time putting some like mist and clouds in certain areas. I have not done like rain or snow or anything like that, but that could be cool. If you have any maps you've seen that have done that well, I'd be interested in seeing them. Send them my way. Nate, the largest mountain, says Chad. Bolt, reach. Bolt, reach. I don't know if I like the double reach, but perhaps a chasm has been bored out of the mountain due to continuous strikes by the lightning of the storm. Ooh, I love it. Yeah, storm glow seems to foreshadow interesting weather. I agree. Before you go, make sure I can add you to BNet for some heroes sometime. Yeah, if anyone wants to add me, you feel free. I'm gonna type it in the chat here. I think this is my name. Oh, but they have those weird numbers. Okay, so this is my. I think that's my BattleNet name right there. And then let me see if I can find the actual like number, because they put these weird numbers in for BattleNet too. Alex says, you better end very soon. You have to be at school tomorrow. Yep. And Alec, you will be there in first hour government with me. But yeah, I'm a night owl. I don't need much sleep. And I'm all ready for class. Don't you worry. I have an amazing lesson planned. All right, let's see here. So how do I find that number? Okay. So it is, I think I found it. Okay, yep. Sorry, stalling here. Number. It's not letting me chat in there. There we go. Okay. Broad bolt reach. Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Broad bolt reach. I just started writing in pen. I'm going to do it in pencil first. And we'll do this down here. I might do it a little smaller. Nah, we'll just go with that. I think that looks okay. I am going to use, if I have a number 2 instead of a number 3, make it a little thinner. Oh, I'm not operating with a guide on this bottom one. This is dangerous. Okay. Go back and add my little serifs on these tiny little letters, which will be challenging. Here we go. Cool. All right, next step, I'm gonna find a thicker pen, go with my number 8, and we're gonna shade this bottom edge of this lake, because just like we did with the continents, this is a body of water. The end of a coastline, the southern edge of a coastline. And so we gotta shade it. Be consistent. Right there, do a little more, because that's a southern edge. And then we'll do it a little on the right side. A little thinner, but still there. Okay. I should do it. This looks like it needs to be a little thicker, actually, right here. There we go. Chad says, I'm already getting this idea of some society that lives within the lake community below. Perhaps they harness an ore within the chasm to power the town or city below. Yeah, I like that. Very cool, guys. See, collaborative world building at its best here on the Mappening. I'm going to take a short break and see if anyone has tweeted anything at me for this. Oh, you know what? I should do it on my laptop so that I can actually project this to, or share my screen rather, if I find anything. I see that PhD 20 has tweeted it out. Thanks, Kirk, using the hashtag. From January 20th, January 27 last year, I see someone used the hashtag Mappening. I saw one on Facebook too for something random. So yeah, it's not I guess I'm not the first to use that term. See if anyone has posted anything on the Facebook. Nope, don't see anything, which is fine, which is totally fine. I'm glad you guys are here chatting it up. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm going to refill my water a second, and I will be right back. I'm back. All right. See if I'm missing anything in the chat here. Christy Smith just tweeted her first ever tweet. You go, Christy. I got on Twitter a few years back, and you know, I would do stuff here and there, but I've gotten a little more active with it just in the last couple months here. And it's a nice way to connect, although it does bug me that I have that 140 character limit. For sure, when you're actually trying to communicate with someone, that can be a pain. Hey, I got 2 new friend requests on BattleNet. Cool, guys. Accepted. Okay, let's get back to it here. I'm torn about whether to do. I think I'll do a little bit of shading on the mountains, and then I'm probably gonna take a break and do some coastline stuff. Because that's the way I work. I'm kind of all over the place. So a little hill there. Okay. So shading. So on the hills, the way I've done shading, I should get a thinner pen. Go with a 1 here. The way I've done some shading, actually, I'm going to go even smaller. Sorry. Just doing a little, like a couple lines, just like that, can sometimes just give it what it needs. Just like that. Or as Bob Ross would say, like that. Yeah, just like that. There we go. Happy little shadows on those sides of the hills. And there we go. Here and there, a little line goes too far, but there's no mistakes here. Just happy little accidents. Like that. Okay, good. Take some yellow ochre here, and I'm out. I'm all out of things to say. All right, so this one, I didn't end up going all the way there, so I'll have to go in with a thicker pen there. Make that a little thicker. But so for the shading, I've kind of mentioned this before, but a lot of people do like a straight line down the middle. I like to, and that can look okay, especially if you're doing just a straight up triangle. Kind of iconic method is just triangle peak, shade halfway, right? But mine are a little more realistic than that, not completely realistic. So I'm gonna, kind of make mine jagged like that. And yeah, and sometimes you want to get really close to that side of the mountain. Other times you want to get really maybe far over here and show that, that's where the ridgeline is. That's where the shadow is. So I'll go in and draw some of these lines here. And now if I were to shade, I'm going to try that kind of messier shading method. That's just kind of random lines. We're going to try it, going for it. I don't know if I like it. You know what? It's all about trying new things, pushing yourself. So we're going to do it. And we'll make another little shadow right here. Again, just like with the peak or the ridgeline method, if you're drawing your ridgeline, you don't necessarily want to shade only one side. If you're going for a little bit more of a realistic feel, you want to shade a little bit of both sides. But definitely, obviously there's going to be more shadow on one side. But now, so there's more shadow on that right side, but it's going to do a little shadow right here too. Okay. And you can kind of pick where you want that. But yeah, I think I'm liking it. It looks okay. It's pretty thin lines here with this 005. I think I should go back and get a little thicker pen just for this. So I'm gonna move up to my 01. Chad says, "Oh, okay, so we got lots of Bob Ross comments here. Keep it up, Bob. I can't even." Nate Ross for the win. Nate Ross for president. Chad says, somewhere out there on the Twitters, there's a dude actually named Nate Ross. Of course there is. Oh, yeah, it's funny. You guys are cracking me up, as usual. All right, so, yeah. I'm going to go back into some of these and just darken them a little bit with my thicker lines, especially on that edge. Get that line a little thicker would be nice. Okay, we'll just go pretty liberal on that one and then see how we did that. See, now that we've just kind of made another peak there without even trying to. But that's what happens when you're using this whole like negative space shading thing. By shading certain areas, you are making other areas pop out. That's what's happening here. Let me explain it to you. I can't remember where it was. Oh, my mom said my a friend or something went to a conference that had a speaker. I think she was like one of the ladies from Facebook, if I remember correctly. And this speaker used the term mansplain. It was like a women's conference, and I'm not telling a very good story here because I'm terrible at multitasking. But the speaker used the word mansplain for like when a man tells a woman something she already knows. Let me mansplain it to you. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, we probably do that sometimes. Especially in geek culture, man, we're guilty of that. Like assuming that, oh, you're a girl who plays Dungeons and Dragons. You must not know very much. So, we are guilty of that. I saw a really good video. I've actually showed it to my video game class last year for Winterim. That was basically like, it was a male going into a comic book shop and a woman clerk kind of telling him like, oh, did your girlfriend introduce you to comic books? Like, oh, here's a good one for you. And she goes over and picks out an Archie, kind of like reversing, trying to show like if roles were reversed or something like that. And it was pretty good. I thought it made a good point, So anyway, don't need to get all feminist here, but no, I'm a feminist. So, all right. Bring the hate. I just said it. Yep, I'm a feminist. That's not a very safe thing for someone to say on the internet these days, unfortunately. Getting back to my 005 pen here so I can get those really thin shading lines on my hills. This one I wasn't quite sure what to do with because it's right in the middle of the peak there. Commander Mark! Oh, yes. Commander Mark. Draw! Foreshortened circles. Love that guy. Chad says, Nate, I've used Incarnate so far, and I'm really terrible at picking and choosing where and when certain cultures or certain ideas should go. How do you get the idea for a campaign as you design a map? Oh, man. So, my mapping has gone beyond my campaigns for sure. Because I like mapping and I don't run games enough just because of my life schedule right now. So I'm probably not the best person to ask for that. Like most of my mapping honestly is not truly world building anymore. But yeah, I mean, I tend to stick pretty much to the tried and true tropes, if you will, where, there's going to be a dwarven city somewhere in this mountain range, and yeah. I don't know, maybe the town will actually be called Broadbold Reach, right? Or, yeah, I mean, who knows? So, yeah, and then in the forest, you're going to have some elves and stuff like that. That's, yeah, I don't know. I don't get to, I'm just probably not real advanced in that. Excuse me, it just burped. I'm going to do some coastline madness here. So what I like to do, you guys have probably watched most of my videos. You know how I like to do this, but here we go. I'm going to go in and I'm going to use my number 2. Let me see. Let me try this out here and see. Yeah, I think number 2 will do. So we're going to do our little kind of wavy lines here. And we're going to break it once in a while. But mostly the first run is pretty unbroken. I'm not doing little tiny lines. I'm mostly doing like that. Yeah. Draw. Draw better with sound effects, definitely. As we learned from Commander Mark. If you don't know who Commander Mark is, look him up. What was that show called? Imagination? Not Imagination Station, was it? That feels like it's a different show. That sounds like Thomas or something. I don't know. Chad says, tropes are always good, man. It's all good. I just love to see how you develop it. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I just, maybe if I had run more games, I would be more sick of the tropes, right? But I'm pretty new to this whole RPG thing still. So I think maybe there will come a time when I am, but that time is not yet. I just, yeah. But, you know, okay, so here's an example. In Inshar, there is a dwarven culture that's pretty stereotypical in some ways, but I like to twist things a little bit. So my my dwarves of Logrif are, log there, and so I got this idea that I named that city, and then I got this idea. Well, maybe they're really good at working with wood too, not just metal, because dwarves are stereotypically good at working with metal and gems, right? Very skilled in these things. They mine deep in the earth. But I thought, no, this town, this city, this civilization, they're also going to be really gifted with working with wood. And there's almost going to be a competition a little bit between those who are really good with working with wood and want to increase the lumber production and construction, outside the mountain. These lumberjack dwarves, right? And those who are wanting to delve deeper into the earth. And that could set up a really interesting internal kind of politics in the city of Logrif. So, yeah, there's something. I came up with something. Yay! This needs to be thicker right here. Instead of using my thick pen, I will use thin pen with many strokes. There we go. Yeah, so, okay. In order to make this video more interesting, I am going to go back and do my second pass instead of going through the first pass of the whole thing. Man, my wife is really thumping around upstairs. What's she doing up there? So on my second pass, I do break the line a little more and kind of, make it a little wavy. My first line is looking pretty broken around some of these parts too, actually. Probably because I was trying to talk while mapping. Always a terrible thing to do. Oh, Imagination Station was real, man. I used to watch it. Thank you, Chad. Chad, you're the man. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Oh, but before that, Timothy Campbell says the secret city. Yeah, I think I remember that too. Pappy Druid. Pappy Druid. Sorry, that's cracking me up, Chad. Pappy Druid was another show. Yeah. So that's good. But yeah, Imagination Station. I just love that show. Like, that guy was the hugest cheese ball. Like, he was so cheesy. But I am too. So there you go. But yeah, he was just so good. Like, he was just a good artist, and he just kind of let his imagination go crazy, like just drawing crazy aliens and monsters and creatures. So go find that show, people, and let your imagination run wild. He had the coolest stuff. Like, he had this big, gigantic, like, canvas on the wall sort of thing. It was probably just paper. I don't know. But he would just draw a little bit more every time. And just keep on building this like crazy like city civilization type thing. And it was so cool. Like, he would just draw these crazy shapes of buildings, crazy creatures, and crazy looking spaceships. And he would add a little more every time. And it was just awesome. And he made cool sound effects while drawing, like zoom, yeah, foreshortening, circles. I don't know why that sticks out in my head, but that's the one I remember. And he taught some good basic art principles, right? Like drawing. I think that's how I learned how to draw like a 3D like prism, you know? Yeah. This guy, man, I wish there was a D&D group at my college. I love this creativity that comes from the D&D community. Yeah, man, me too. Like this, just getting involved in D&D in the last year and a half has like, I mean, it's just, I feel like I'm tapping into my imagination in ways that that I haven't since I was much younger. You know, it's really a great thing. It's just exercising my creativity in ways that, you know, yeah, like I said, I just haven't in a long time. So yeah, it's good. Steel voltage, woot the Mappening, woot indeed. Here's to you. Okay. It's almost time to end it here, but maybe we should try to draw a forest. At least pencil in a little bit. So we're going to do it. There is going to be a forest all along. I don't know. You know what? We're going to do a forest over here. And there will probably be others too. But we're going to do a forest up here. And it'll go around here. All right. So I've just penciled in a very light outline that you probably can't see very well. But I'm gonna get a little more puffy than I have it sometimes. And we're actually gonna draw, you know, it's gonna be a little bit kind of zoomed in almost. Well, I don't know. I'm just rambling now, but I'm gonna pencil it in a little bit darker than I would really like to, because I'm trying a new style and I don't want to, yeah, I just want to make sure before I lay the ink down that I like it, I guess, that it looks okay. So I'm going to get a little more jagged with this here, and like that. There we go. Yeah, Chad, you send me that, man. Christopher Franklin, me too, Nate. After watching the Provokers and stuff, I actually want to role play more instead of just min-maxing for D&D. Yeah, that's cool, Chris. Christopher. All right, let's see here. Should I lay down the ink? I don't know. I think I'm going to. The tricky part is going to be getting the get a thicker pen here. We'll do number 3. And we'll see how it goes. So a little more texture than I normally have added to my forests. Last time I tried the individual tree method, and I really like it. I'm still a fan. But I've been looking at some maps lately on the Cartographers Guild website, and just some really cool stuff going on there, as always. And been inspired by some maps that kind of do something like what I'm doing right now. So a little more, again, a little more texture than I added on, for example, Inshar, or definitely more than on this one, where they're, you know, the lines are a little straighter. So see how this goes here. And we're going to name this forest something. So before I forget, I'm going to kind of pencil in a name here, or a guide, so I make sure I don't ink over it. And if I don't take up all that space, I can definitely go back later, excuse me, and ink it in better, or I guess add ink around the edges if I don't use it all. But now, how to do this? Yeah, this is tricky. So I know, like up here, for example, it looks kind of cool if you actually like go in there and make some of these a little bit, make these go further down, so that it actually almost looks like, hey, like this right here, this is, oh, you can't see that, sorry. This right here, like this is a tree sort of thing. But then how to do that in the rest, it's a little tricky. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still learning. Still have stuff to learn for sure. I mean, that's the thing. We're always improving, right? At everything. But yeah, I think that looks okay. I think that looks pretty good so far. Okay, now let's just go in and draw like maybe some smaller sort of squigglies. Got the bigger ones in there, the big trees. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Oh, I'm feeling a little wheezy here tonight. Let me take my inhaler. All right. Let's go in and do it. This is a number 1. I'm going to use a little thicker. Is that number 2? Number 2 it is. So don't always follow my pencil lines exactly. Kind of go where I feel led. But yeah. Oh, that was a really good pun. Yeah, go where I feel led. I don't always follow my pencil lines. Go where I feel led. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to work that into my social studies curriculum. You know, I'm a teacher, so I have to be like on top of the puns. Got to make kids like just groan and go, oh, that was terrible. It's my job. And these little lines in from the side here. On my first map that I did of Inchar, I thought, you know, it just looked a little too much like a cloud almost, and I didn't like that. But I think I'm okay with the puffiness. I think I'm okay with it. I'm not terribly opposed. I hear a train outside. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Not bad, not bad. And then I would go in here and I would do my little, you can look at these as tree trunks, or you can look at it as shading that gives it texture. But either way, I think it generally looks cool. And that's the goal here. Looking cool. Happy little tree trunks. Yep, Alec in Grand Rapids. Here's the trains too. Yeah, pretty distant for me as well, but can still hear that. Okay, this looks like it needs a little bit more thickening there, and that's looking pretty good. This is like just borderline, like doesn't quite deserve any, but it's close. This right here too. Let's do a little of that. Yeah, that's good. I guess if I did that, then I got to do a little, just darken that a little bit, and darken that a little bit. Yeah. Okay. It's working. Forest name. After this, I might be calling it a night. Last time I used Foretells Wood was the name of a forest. Can do something a little different here. And I'm seeing improvement. Like I think this looks better than this. So what I said, constant improvement, right? All right. Lentils wood. Just got to start writing things down. That's the method. So the dark forest is a pretty obvious name, right? The shadowed forest. The fallen wood. The northern pines. Dark pine forest. This guy, black pine forest. You and me, man, we're on the same wavelength. Black pine forest. Not bad. I think I like dark pine better. But I like that you made it 2 words. Yeah, I think that looks better. The ashen wood. Yeah, that's good too. The ashen wood. Man, you guys are busting it out here. Meyerfell wood. Oh, that's good too, Chad. Man. You're making it difficult. You guys are making it difficult here. I think I'm going to go with, I like the ashen wood. I really like that. Let's go with it. The ashen wood. And now, this is number 2. Oh, DM Brad, Wraithwood Forest. That's cool. I like that. So apparently, like, this is kind of a scary place, right? All the names we came up with, and maybe I started it, but they're pretty dark. So there we go. We just made this a scary place, guys. What have we done? No, we're supposed to bring light to the world. Thanks, Christy. You're outing Chris here. I'm in Skype with Chris, and he cheered so loud. That's great. I cheered so loud when I saw it, Chris. You know? No, I didn't. You were here. I can't say that because you guys saw that I didn't cheer. All right. The ashen. Ashen wood. Adding the serifs. Fancy it up a little bit. Get all gussied up here. And because I can't do anything there, we'll just darken that side of the letter. And we'll do that on these two. Sometimes it's nice to like just add a little other texture to the letters here and there. Cool. The ashen wood. Okay, so now I need to add a little more, as I said before, something right here. There we go. Right here too, maybe. Yeah, but I like that. I think it looks really nice. And I thank you, Chris, for the name. Chad Nick. Chad, you are like the master world builder here, man. If I ever like am short of ideas, I'm just going to come to you. So here we go. A battered, dark, shadowed wood, sundered by the occasional strikes from the clouds over Broadbolt. The floor of the forest is an ashen gray from the broken, struck, and emblazoned. And he's still typing. Man, I love it. So good. Okay, guys. I guess I'll take any more questions you guys have, and then we'll call it a night here. We can finish this river here while I'm waiting for any questions you guys might have. If you don't have any, that's fine. And so for rivers, this one's, oh man, I kind of messed up. Like that's way too straight. I don't like that. What was I thinking? It's just way too straight. Oh, well, it's done. So now it's going to curve a lot. River's going to go from these mountains here. And we'll go in there with a number 2. And bring it on down from the mountains. And at some point, it kind of widens out there. And remember, rivers never split. Almost never. Except for like deltas, maybe. Okay. Yes, Ched is a boss. Okay. When is the next stream? I don't know. I will make a goal of doing one in December, and it will probably be over my winter break, which will start on Friday the 18th, I think. Excuse me. So I would imagine somewhere in the 19 to 23 range, or perhaps after Christmas, the week of the 27th. But yeah. Okay, so Chad, now I can finish reading. Broken, struck, and emblazoned wood. It may have a small outpost, perhaps even a forbidden piece of lore from a former dwarven patrol lies within, or perhaps a beast that is rumored to only be seen by the strikes of light at night. Oh, so good. So good. Alec, there was no homework. Hi, Carol. Welcome. Sorry we're almost done here. Yeah, but you can go back and watch it. We had a good time. And yeah, so plan on another one probably in the December 20s at some point. A special Christmas edition of The Mappening. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. 17 people we're up to. Man, I've reached a new high. Like, I can't end it now, can I? Yeah, I'm sorry, I have to. I actually have to finish grading the government tests tonight. And so I'm going to do that. And yeah, thanks again, guys, for hanging out. Maybe I'll have this map and pay attention to the Facebook page. That is WASD20 on Facebook. And maybe I'll post a picture of this when I finish it. Or who knows, maybe I'll just save it for the next stream and we won't finish it until then. But we got a good start on this map for sure. And I'm liking how it's looking so far. So thank you, guys. You're awesome. And stay cool. Enjoy your Thanksgiving if you're celebrating that here in the United States of America, and or elsewhere for that matter. And yeah, everybody have a great night. I'll hang out in the chat for just another second here and chat it up.